between Park and First Street.
What? No, that doesn't work. I'm busy then. Decline. Decline.
Floods don't exactly work around your schedule. Disasters don't plan ahead, but you can. It starts with talking to your loved ones about making an emergency plan. So don't wait, communicate. Get started today at ready.gov/plan. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 106.1 ESPN. Richmond, it's time to get your morning going. Richmond Sports Talk by Richmond sports fans. This is Fitz the Bill with Jack Fitzpatrick.
All live from the capital of the Commonwealth.
Where sharp analysis, your cause, and Richmond always come first. If it's making headlines locally or nationally, we're breaking it down. Now,
take my talents to South Beach.
Live from the capital of the Commonwealth, Fitz the Bill with your host, Jack Fitzpatrick.
Good Monday morning, February 2nd. Appreciate you clocking in, getting your day started with us right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, ESPN Richmond app, and ESPNRichmond.com. Fitz the Bill is streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you want to watch the stream live, just type in ESPN Richmond. We'll pop right on up, and you can watch the stream, and you can be part of it by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And of course, you can call or text us on the Radke Insurance call and text line, 804-327-0888. And folks, it is here. It is Super Bowl week, the unlikeliest Super Bowl in NFL history based on preseason betting odds. Both teams came in with uber long odds to win this game. The Seahawks at one point 60-1, maybe even 70-1, depending on the book you were using. The Patriots 80-1 to win the Super Bowl, meaning if you bet $1 on the Patriots to win the Super Bowl back in the preseason, you would be winning $80 if they end up winning the Super Bowl. You even look at some of the preseason win totals. The Seahawks, the Patriots, both were projected to win around 7-8 games, according to Vegas. The Seahawks had a preseason win total the same as the Arizona Cardinals. Shows you what Vegas knows, right? Of course, they do know a thing or two. But the fact that this is such an unlikely Super Bowl, it takes me back to Dan Campbell's comments from the 2023 NFC Championship game following their heartbreaking loss to the San Francisco 49ers.
And sometimes you can only say so much. You got to live it, unfortunately. You got to get your heart ripped out, which we did. And it's a lesson learned. And look, I told those guys, this may have been our only shot. Do I think that? No. Do I believe that? No. However, I know how hard it is to get here. I'm well aware. And it's going to be twice as hard to get back to this point next year than it was this year.
This may have been our only shot. The way the NFL is, you may only ever get one shot. Like, look at Dan Marino, right? Just one Super Bowl appearance. Heck, you can look at that exact Dan Campbell Lions squad. They looked poised to make a Super Bowl or two in this current era they're in. They fell a game short in 2023, fell 2 games short last season, and now this year didn't even make the postseason. And for the Seahawks, the brain drain in year 2 of the McDonald era is already beginning. Clint Kubiak, he's set to leave to take the Raiders job following the Super Bowl. Who knows what the offensive staff looks like with Kubiak leaving? And, oh, by the way, the team may be sold this offseason for a record $7 billion. Who knows how that impacts the stability of the Seattle franchise? That's all off the field noise. Doesn't impact, at least I don't think it impacts what's happening between the lines, but it impacts the stability of a franchise that's set to play in its 4th Super Bowl in the last 21 seasons, and that's some solid success for some small little franchise up in the Pacific Northwest. 4 trips with 3 different coaches. You got Mike Holmgren, Pete Carroll, and now Mike McDonald. But like Dan Campbell said, this could be their only shot in this quote-unquote era. And you even look over to the Patriots, and here's the thing. 2 things can be true. This could be a very good football team. And it also could be a team, or has been a team, that's taken advantage of a horrible schedule. If you saw this over the weekend, you know what I'm about to say. The viral tweet of a guy breaking down the Patriots schedule just week by week. This was the Patriots' poor schedule. Week 1, fired coach. Week 2, fired coach. Week 3, fired coach. Week 4, they played an NFC South opponent. It is all agreed upon that the NFC South is the worst division in the NFL. Week 5, fired coach. Week 6, another NFC South opponent. Week 7, 8, and 9, all against coaches that ended up being fired. Then weeks 10 and 11 was an NFC South team and a Jets team. Week 12 was a Bengals team without Joe Burrow or Jamar Chase. Week 13, 15, 16, fired head coaches. Week 17, Jets. Week 18, fired head coach. You don't get that type of schedule draw each and every year. They faced 11 teams that would go on to have their coach fired by the end of the year. Some of those were duplicate teams being in the AFC East. So 11 opponents this year with a coach that was fired at the end of it. That is tied for the most in league history. That's the most in the Super Bowl era. And when you do have a schedule like that, right, you have to take advantage of it. And so far, the Patriots have taken advantage of it. And I also believe this is a Patriots team that is a good team. But you gotta look at it, right? The Seahawks have some potential instability coming. The Patriots probably will never get a schedule this easy ever again. This may be both teams' only shots to win it, at least for a little bit, because it's just, look at the AFC, right? I mean, you look at what they had to do in the playoffs. They faced off against Herbert, who was playing with one of the most beaten and battered offensive lines. Then you play against C.J. Stroud. Then you play against Jarrett Stidham. You can expect for the Patriots next season to have to go through Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. Maybe C.J. Stroud takes a step forward. Justin Herbert likely will be back. Bo Nix will be likely back. You're not going to get an easier run than you did this year. And for the Seahawks, like I said, you just don't know what this offseason will bring. New ownership can change everything. A new offensive staff. How does it meld with Sam Darnold? There are a lot of questions heading into both off seasons with the Patriots and the Seahawks. And I'm not trying to be a pessimist, but I want to be a realist and also an appreciator of what we are witnessing. It is a perfect storm. 2 perfect storms coming together to give us something highly unlikely that's going to make for one of the most fun Super Bowls we've had. I know the Vegas line isn't all that, doesn't think this game's going to be all that close. But if you just look back from 6 months ago, and you could see what Vegas thought of these two teams, Vegas didn't know much then. I don't think Vegas will know too much going into this Super Bowl. Both teams with great shots, both teams that are great, with 2 good coaches, 2 of the better coaches in the modern NFL. Here it is right now in this season. It's going to make for an electric football game and a great week of buildup that all starts today. Super Bowl week is here. On this Monday morning, no guests, just want to hear from you. Call or text in on the Radkey Insurance text line and call-in line, 804-327-0888. It is Overreaction Monday, so get your overreactions in. We'll break some of them down at about 9:30 in hour number 2. All right, let's get you set with some things that happened around the wide world of sports overnight.
This is your Fitz the Bill morning update, getting you caught up on some of the biggest stories in sports.
All right, let's head out to the association around the NBA last night. Some scores trickling in. The Celtics got a 107-79 win over the Milwaukee Bucks. The wheels have come all the way off with the Milwaukee Bucks. Jaylen Brown, 30 points, 13 boards. The Pistons beat up on the Nets, 130-77. We'll talk about that game in just a little bit. The Heat get a massive win, 134-91 over the Chicago Bulls. The Wizards win. The Wizards moved to 13-35 this season. It was a 116-112 home win for the Wizards. The Knicks got a 112-100 win over the Lakers on NBC last night on Sunday Night Basketball. And the nightcap was the Thunder beating up on the Nuggets 121-111. And oh, by the way, Jarrett Allen had 40 points, 17 boards, 5 assists, and 4 blocks as the Cleveland Cavaliers beat up the Portland Trailblazers 130-111. In that Detroit Pistons game, they routed the Nets 130-77. It was the most lopsided victory in franchise history. The 53-point margin topped the mark of 52, set back in 2003. The Nets They had a 54-point loss just a couple of weeks ago to the New York Knicks, 120-66. Things have gone from bad to worse in Brooklyn. Over in the MLB, slugger Eugenio Suarez and the Cincinnati Reds have agreed to a one-year, $15 million contract with a mutual option, sources told ESPN, reuniting him with the team that helped him blossom into a consistent home run threat. Suarez had a slow free agent market after an up-and-down season. He started red hot last year with the Arizona Diamondbacks, was one of the most coveted bats at the deadline. He was dealt to the Mariners and struggled. Suarez hit 189, 255, 428 with 13 home runs in 53 games, dragging his final numbers down to the season 228, 298, 526, although he did finish with a career-high 118 ribbies. In college basketball, the SEC provided a beatdown last night. Alex Condon scored 25. Thomas Howe had 22. Number 19 Florida handled the Alabama Crimson Tide 177 last night. In the Atlantic 10, let's rewind it all the way back to Friday. It was a 9 p.m. tip. VCU beat down Loyola Chicago 89-75. It was the Rams' fifth win in a row, moves them to 7-2 in Atlantic 10 play. On Saturday, Richmond got absolutely handled by Davidson at the Robins Center, 70-54. It's the Spiders' fifth loss in a row, dropped them to 3-7 in Atlantic 10 play. In the NFL, the 49ers are set to hire Raheem Morris as the team's next defensive coordinator, according to ESPN sources. It is the fifth different defensive coordinator in as many years for San Fran. Over in Miami, the Dolphins are hiring former Green Bay Packers linebacker coach Sean Dugan as their defensive coordinator. And the coaching carousel has come to an end, at least for head coaches. Clint Kubiak was hired by the Raiders. Mike LaFleur was picked up by the Cardinals. With the music stopping and all the chairs filled, we'll break down the hires and hand out official grades next on Fitz the Bill.
Hey, I got you something.
What's this?
Just a little Galentine's gift from Jewelry Television.
JTV, I love their jewelry. I had my eye on this pearl bracelet on JTV.com. Plus, I love their colored gemstone jewelry. And oh, have you seen their gold?
Right now, take up to 70% off select jewelry and gifts at JTV.com.
You are not going to believe their gemstones and their artisan collections. Gorgeous.
Are you going to open your gift?
It's the pearl bracelet.
Visit JTV.com.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
Weather reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at HermanAllenPlumbing.com.
Okay, get this. Now at Wendy's, you get to go biggie with new Biggie deals. That means going biggie with the $4 Biggie Bites, biggier with the $6 Biggie Bag, or biggiest with an $8 Biggie Bundle. So now you can choose and customize your Biggie deal. As you should. Sorry, I get fired up when I'm talking deals. More Biggie options so you can get more of what you really want at Wendy's.
Price and participation may vary. Single items at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska, California, and Hawaii.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Henrico Sports and Entertainment Authority Executive Director Dennis Bickmeyer joins Bob Black for the Henrico Huddle, ESPN Richmond's newest monthly feature.
From driveways to interstates, accidents happen fast. The insurance company's response? Here's our offer. Take it or leave it. Leave it. Call Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys. Over 250,000 clients. And no, they don't accept lowball offers. They fight, they win. Over $2 billion recovered. Call now for a free consultation. 877-222-6666 or alexwins.law. Past results do not guarantee future outcomes. Every case is different. Phil George's licensed attorney in Virginia is responsible for legal work. Office is located Located at 500 East Main Street, Suite 1600-113, Norfolk, Virginia, 23510.
The Rich Eisen Show.
This man, Mike Tomlin, what he has meant to the Pittsburgh Steelers, the organization, the community. I understand it did not finish well in terms of winning a playoff game, and fans were absolutely sick and tired of, hey, at least we had a winning record. And I understand that you feel it had run its course. The fact that he feels the same way right now, I think is sad.
The Rich Eisen Show from noon to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN Plus, and on Disney Plus.
1061 ESPN Traffic.
The right lane is blocked off heading south on 95 due to a vehicle fire at Willis Road. Beware of a traffic hazard on Midlothian Turnpike at Buford Road and another hazard on Midlothian Turnpike at Boulders Parkway. And just beware of some closures on the ramp from 95 southbound to Parham Road.
Stuck off the field? 1061 ESPN's got your back. Stream every debate, score, and highlight on the 1061 ESPN app. Download today and stay in the game.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill on this Monday, February 2nd morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Allen alongside. The music has stopped. The seats have been filled. Whatever analogy you want to use when it comes to the coaching carousel, the coaching game of musical chairs as everyone kind of moves around. There were 10 open chairs. They've all been filled, and I'm handing out grades. Who do you think was the best coaching hire this time around? Text in your answers. Call in your answers on the Radke Insurance call and text line 804-327-0888, radkeyinsurance.com to start your free quote today. Alan, my best hire, I've got 3 A's. Out of these 10, I handed out 3 A's, 3 B's, 2 C's, 2 D's. Do you want to guess who the worst graded hire was and the best graded hire was?
The worst graded hire is probably the Cardinals.
Not shockingly, no.
Okay.
I think that the Cardinals hire is good, not great. I'm very concerned about what they're doing outside of the coaching hire, though. Like, who's their quarterback? Is it Kyler? Are they going to go with Jacoby Brissett and just do like a year where we burn it all down? That's the question. I think Mike LaFleur is actually a fine hire. Not great, but he's fine.
Jacoby's not a good tanking quarterback.
No,
he's actually good enough to win some games.
Well, he was a fantasy football stud this year, but he didn't win. I don't think he won any games as a starter, but I think that's more so an indication of the abysmal roster that the Cardinals have put together on the offensive side of the football.
I thought he won at least 1 or 2.
Yeah, he won 1. All right,
Okay.
1 and 11.
1 or 2.
1 and
But
11.
he keeps them competitive, which is scary. If you're trying to tank, you're not really trying to compete either. And he's just good enough not to lose a game. And if we're talking, in this situation, you're looking to try to get that first or second pick. We've seen instances where some teams have won that one game.
Yeah, 100%.
That one game kept them from.
Look at the Giants.
From potentially getting a franchise quarterback or some talent. Obviously can't see in the future, don't know how deep the next class will be, but I think it would be imperative to lose as much as you can if you're really trying to tank.
Yes. So who do you think my worst graded hire was?
Worst graded hire than probably the Steelers?
No, shockingly no.
No?
It was Jeff Hafley and the Dolphins.
Okay.
I don't know
why they didn't pop up in my head.
That will be exactly right. That's exactly why you just kind of, okay, they hired him. Like a guy who was a fine coach, if not kind of bad-ish coach at Boston College, who wins at Boston College? I understand it's difficult, but then he spends, 2 years with the Packers, and it felt like a guy kind of scratching his back to help it. John Eric Sullivan, the hired GM down there in Miami, he had worked with Hafley the last couple of years, just kind of was helping a guy out, bringing him down, which can go to the larger issue the larger issue at large, of course, in the NFL, where it's a lot of nepotism, a lot of you scratch my back, I scratch yours, which we saw in this hiring cycle just a little bit. Hafley and Brady were my 2 worst graded hires, and I know you probably have a little issue with the Joe Brady hiring, but I just did not like the process there from Buffalo and how they got to Joe Brady.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the Brady hire. I can see where some people would I was grading hires, or I was thinking the hire was bad if I didn't see the direction of the team changing, or if I didn't feel like they were trying to make a change in direction. with the hire. So, like in the Steelers case, you go from Tomlin to McCarthy, it's kind of the same thing. So I probably wouldn't grade that as high as I would taking a chance on a Joe Brady and moving in a different direction than you would a Sean McDermott per se. But I think there's a lot of speculation with the hiring cycles. We don't have a lot of names that are like, big name people. We don't have a lot of Ben Johnsons out there.
Or Mike McDonald.
Or Mike McDaniels.
The genius guys,
or McDonald, yeah. We don't have a lot of those labels. So a lot of them seem risky. Even Kubiak, for what it's worth. We have a year of him not looking that great when he was with the Saints, and we have a year of him looking like he's the next coming of McVay with the Seahawks. Which one is the coach we're going to get, right? Like there's going to be questions amongst everybody hired except for McCarthy, because we've seen him and knows what he can do. Stefanski kind of the same way. We know what he can do. And so same with John Harbaugh. We know what he can do as well.
Yeah. I have McCarthy graded at a C because I don't think the Steelers were actually going to fire Mike Tomlin.
A C is perfect. It's not an A. It's not a D either.
It's the meme you brought up.
Yeah.
It's we take out a flannel shirt that's the same one I'm wearing that's like, thanks for the gift.
Yeah.
Or like, because I don't think, after everything that's kind of been coming out around the Steelers, especially with their decision to go with Mike McCarthy, I don't think it was their goal to fire Tomlin. I think Tomlin actually did step down under his own accord. If he wanted to come back, I believe the Steelers would have had him back. That's just me in my gut. I have no inside information on that. But this hire to bring in Mike McCarthy really indicates to me that the Steelers were okay with the status quo. They want to be a playoff team that maybe messes around and wins a Super Bowl. I mean, heck, you can look at the Patriots. Maybe we get lucky enough to have the easiest schedule in the history of the NFL, and ipso facto, we can luck our way into the Super Bowl. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. But Mike McCarthy, it's the status quo. It's the same. It's not going to be a failure. It's also not going to be a home run. It's right down the middle. It's a C. It's average. It's exactly what you'd expect out of the Steelers.
It's not a losing season.
It's not a winning season.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what they said? They choked up on the bat a little bit, and they said, all right, we're hitting for contact here.
Never like choking up on the bat.
Choked up on the bat. They said, we're hitting for singles and doubles. Nothing crazy.
If I can't hit it normal, then I just can't hit it.
Yeah, exactly. Todd Monken's also a C because of the process that led them to get there, that then alienated Jim Schwartz and alienated their entire defensive roster. Like, you got Myles Garrett now mad at Todd Monken for no reason. Todd Monken was just the guy they hired, and now he has to walk into essentially his whole defensive roster on fire because they're mad that Jim Schwartz got passed over, which it's fair that the Browns decided to go with Monken over Schwartz. I get it. But it was just the process to get there. They dragged it out for 2.5 weeks when they probably had a good feeling Monken was their guy early on in the process. Instead, they kind of dragged along Jim Schwartz in case Monken ended up going somewhere else.
Yeah, I still think that was Jim's fault more than anything. But the Browns being the Browns, we can't fully count them out as being wrong in this process either.
Exactly.
I would just think,
they've not earned the benefit of the doubt.
I just think everybody just needs to be professional, man. Understand Jim ain't coming back. It's fine. Myles Garrett, what's the difference? You've been playing for people that you don't like and still performing. You can play for somebody that you don't like again and still perform.
Hey, you signed that contract. You could have gotten out of Cleveland last offseason, and instead it's funny because we all want, loyalty in football.
I don't.
Same.
Yeah,
same.
I want you to do what's best for you.
Yeah, I want you to go. I want to see Myles Garrett on a good football team. I don't want to see Myles Garrett on the Cleveland Browns anymore. We saw it. We get it. You're loyal. Now trade him. But then this guy had to go out there and decide that he wanted to sign a contract extension with the Cleveland Browns. Come on, man.
Even before I got behind the scenes and saw how things really worked, I was not for loyalty. I mean, athletes, when you get to a point, you have to be selfish. Take care of yourself, your family, get the most out of it.
Because this league ain't going to take care of you.
Yeah, and you put so much time into your craft. Like, maximize your profits if you can, right?
I will say, Garrett, I guess he gets the benefit of being loyal and able to maximize his profits. I don't think any other team was going to give him the deal that the Browns gave him.
In Myles Garrett's case, I think a lot of people would have gave it to him for real, especially considering how productive he was this season. And you just saw Joe Thomas give his entire career to this franchise. God bless him. But he doesn't get the credit he deserves for being the monster that he was.
Arguably the best left tackle of the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah, and we never really talk about him because he just withered away on this worthless franchise. You don't owe Cleveland anything, man. They drafted you. You gave them your rookie contract. Your payment was done at the end of your rookie contract. So it's admirable, but it's not something I would like preach to people because again, we've seen so many examples where the loyalty does not count for anything for the athlete at the end of the day.
And the thing is, the Browns are going to cut Myles Garrett the second his play starts to diminish, and it makes sense financially. They're not going to have loyalty to him.
Yeah, I don't do it for me is what I would say as a fan. You take care of you.
Thank you for the 5 years. You go take care of you now. My 2 B- grades are Robert Saleh and Mike LaFleur. I'll start with Saleh here with the Tennessee Titans. I felt. Now, Saleh did a really good job of bringing in Brian Daboll, a former head coach, offensive guy. He's credited with resurrecting or I guess really just bringing to life Josh Allen's entire career. But Robert Saleh was just in a dysfunctional franchise with the New York Jets. He's one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL, but you could only overcome so much. I was kind of shocked, and I get the money, and this is something that I'll bring up with Clint Kubiak too. I get the money's life-changing, right? An average salary of a head coach is about $6 million per year. The average salary of an offensive coordinator is $1 to $2 million a year. So that is a huge, huge, huge draw. And Saleh, I think he has 7 kids. So
he's catching Phillip Rivers.
He's going to need every ounce of that $1 million so that he can afford to send his kids to college. But with Saleh, like you just went through a very, very dysfunctional franchise. You're back into one. I thought he would have maybe learned from the Jets' experience that sometimes it's good to be a coordinator for maybe a year or two and then find a job that fits you better. For Saleh, he steps into a pretty barren roster. He doesn't feel like a guy that can really elevate Cam Ward in that offensive side of the ball. He made a good hire in Daboll. B-, I think it's good. I don't think it's great. I think there's some things that are lacking in it.
Yeah, so I'll say I can't ever look at these situations and recommend that people wait a year because if you're Ben Johnson, then yeah, you could probably do that. But the percentage of coordinators who can sit out a cycle and then either land in a better position or find a way to move up on their next hiring cycle is very, very slim. So like in Ben Johnson's case, he's lucky that he went from a chance to work with Jaden Daniels to working with Caleb Williams because he could have been a chance to work with Jaden Daniels to working with whoever the Dolphins have. You know, and it's not even Tua, right? Like it could have been a whole lot worse. I think the opportunity always, along with the money, always outweighs the waiting, right?
100% it does. And I get that, like, and I'm not a guy to like count a man's money and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
But because like I even said this when it goes to Bob Chesney and UCLA, I said it, now it's worked out extremely well for Kurt Cignetti, right? Raising a national championship. But kind of similar things were being said when Cignetti left JMU to go to Indiana. Similar things are being said when Chesney has now gone to UCLA, where it's like, well, those aren't football powers. Why don't you wait another year and have your pick of the litter next time around for the next hiring cycle? And it's, well, you want to strike when the iron's hot. In the case of college coaches, you don't know what's to come next year. You don't know if your quarterback is going to tear his ACL and you're going to have a sub 500 year. You truly do not know. And the same could be said with Robert Saleh. You don't know if Fred Warner's going to miss another year next year. You don't know if Bosa's going to miss another year next year. And are you really going to be able to coordinate a defense at such a... You don't know
if Purdy's going to last.
Like, there's so much to it where, like, is Saleh going to be able to coordinate another top 10 unit next year? You don't know. So, yeah, strike while the iron's hot. But for Saleh, I just like, man, I wish you didn't land in a dysfunctional franchise again. I would have loved to see Saleh with the Ravens, I don't think the Falcons are a dysfunctional franchise. I would love to see them with the Falcons, the Giants, even the Steelers. But the Titans got ahead of it. They offered him a good amount of money, and they were able to scoop him up before any of those other places really gave him, I think, a real look. The Ravens were always going to be Jesse Minter. But for Saleh, I think he'll find relative success, just not extreme success. He'll probably be there for another 5-6 years. And then I fear that the Titans will move on for him. But the good news for Robert Saleh, and maybe this is why he made the move, he's always got San Francisco there for him.
Well, I think, I don't know how long that's going to last either because, I mean, there's no guarantee Cal will be here in another 5-6 years.
True.
Or John Lynch, for that matter.
If they keep losing in the ways they are.
Yeah, if the talent doesn't get better for John Lynch, I think things are going to get a little hot for him. But in Salah's case, you got to look at it too. He's got a franchise quarterback he can work with. Cam Ward's talented.
And he hired a good offensive coordinator.
He hired a good OC. He knows himself. He has enough talent on that Titans defense. He can coach those guys up, and they can be competitive. I see the upward possibility for the Titans. It's not going to be a overnight sensation, but it is a significantly better situation than what he had with the Jets as far as the structure of the organization coming into it, right? Like he's got a quarterback he knows he can work with, and the franchise is invested in that quarterback,
and he's in an easy division.
Yeah, and that division is totally different than the AFC East. A lot of ups and downs. I know the Jags are looking like they're going to be more consistent under Cohen, and we obviously saw that defense of the Texans, but still, there's opportunity. When you look at the quarterback position, he is very competitive in that division.
I mean, you look at the Jags, they had that 1 year under, and I'm a full believer in Liam Cohen. I think Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback, but let's be realistic for a second. They looked good after year one under Doug Peterson, after they got out of the mess that was Urban Meyer. Everyone thought the Jaguars were going to turn a corner and be consistent contenders and winners of the AFC South. Well, they weren't. They ended up firing Peterson. Now, year one of Liam Cohen, they look like they're the future 5-time winner of the AFC East. The AFC South. From what history has told us, that's not going to be the case. And the AFC South is going to be wide open again. So for Saleh, good landing spot. He can find success there. Cardinals, Mike LaFleur, he was the Rams offensive coordinator. He was not the play caller in L.A. Sean McVay was the play caller. That's a big reason why I bumped it down from a B to a B-, and why it's not an A as well is because Mike LaFleur walking into a scenario that is absolutely rudderless. You don't have a quarterback. We just mentioned it. Is it Brissett? Are you trying to tank? Do you blow everything up? Do you not go with anyone? Do you cut Kyler? Do you trade Kyler? Do you try to win with Kyler? I truly have no clue what the Cardinals are going to do. They're just down there in Arizona, puttering along. No one really understands what they're trying to do. Every year it looks like they have a frisky team. Every year they fall flat on their face. Jonathan Gannon wasn't that great. I mean, Mike LaFleur, he's got his work cut out for him. He stays within division, so that's going to be difficult for him as well. He's got 2 games against his mentor who knows exactly the type of offense he runs. Tough spot for Mike LaFleur. Tough spot. It's a B- teetering on a C.
Yeah.
This hire is just like, okay, cool.
But it's got the last name, so let's give it some optimism, right?
Yeah, I guess.
and he's from the tree. Everybody likes a McVay guy.
Everyone loves a McVay guy.
Gotta give it McVay. We were having this argument in my friend's side chat. How much of McVay tree do we give credit for Kyle? Because Kyle kind of created McVay. So how does that work in your mind?
I don't really so. If you really go back, it's more so the Shanahan-Mike tree.
Yeah,
Shanahan, Mike, not Kyle. So I would even say McVay is a limb of the Shanahan tree because that's how he got started underneath Mike Shanahan in Washington. So, like, the tree itself is the Shanahan tree. It's the limb of McVay, if we really want to get exact.
So you're not giving Kyle no credit. You're saying it's Mike.
I think it's Mike.
Okay.
And yeah, exactly. It's Mike.
All this is, I know it sounds like side conversation, but it's going to come up. If these guys are successful, it's going to come up because this is the conversation we typically have, and everybody's looking for some kind of an angle. That's why I think it's hilarious. McVay, being as young as he is, has so many assistants that go on to get head coaching
Let me throw a question at you here. Is Mike Shanahan the greatest tree in the NFL, like in NFL history? Is the Mike?
No, to me the greatest tree will always be Bill Walsh. To me personally,
yeah.
I don't like. I looked at a video the other day of Holmgren talking about how he was yelling at Andy Reid. I see Holmgren. I think Bill Walsh.
Yeah, I mean Holmgren and Andy Reid are both Bill Walsh disciples.
So I'm like, if and him yelling at Andy Reid and the branching out of that, like instinctively, I was like, yo, that's just, it's still wild to me that was his staff. And at some point in time, guys like Andy Reid and them got yelled at like they were scrubs, considering how great they are right now. But that's how it works, man. That's how it works. So.
But I mean, I would argue that Shanahan is at least the most Mike Shanahan, the most impactful tree in the current NFL. Because you look, Mike LaFleur, he's from the Shanahan tree. You're going down the line. The other coaches, Kyle Shanahan, of course, part of that tree. Matt LaFleur, part of that tree. Clint Kubiak, part of that tree. There's so many people. Did I already say Kyle Shanahan's part of that tree?
Yeah.
You could even argue a little bit that Robert Saleh is part of that tree.
I mean, he
too,
is. O'Connell is, and all.
Although
these
you
other...
could argue Saleh's more under the Pete Carroll tree because Saleh got his start in Seattle.
That's true.
But I mean, it is really fascinating that the limbs branch out where there are now offshoots from the Mike Shanahan tree with the McVay limbs and the Kyle limbs and everything.
And
but
Raheem Morris is back.
Raheem Morris is back.
Who's a part of that Shanahan tree as well. Like it's funny how
that
how
staff in
out.
Washington, man. Kevin O'Connell's part of the Shanahan tree.
Mike
that
McDaniel
staff
was like a assistant to an assistant at the time, and he took him with him to Cleveland.
Can we just talk about how that staff decided? And this is no shade at him, but that staff had all of those guys, and they ended up with Jay Gruden as their head coach.
No, I think Washington fans always like they always go back to McVay and Kyle. I think at least, but. Yeah, there were so many off sector guys that you
on that
picked.
staff was Mike McDaniel, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Raheem Morris. Was Todd Bowles on that staff?
If he wasn't far off.
But like, oh my goodness! And they ended up with Jay Gruden after they fired Mike.
Yeah,
Jay Gruden, come on, man.
But that's why I look at a guy like Mike LaFleur, and we don't know a whole lot about him per se. But you can't ever give a hire like that a D or an F, because we've seen these guys who nobody knew much about over the last 5 or 6 years become pretty decent coaches,
especially when they're the offensive guy from those trees. Like Brandon Staley got the head coaching job with the Chargers because he was the DC with the Rams for 1 year.
He was awful,
and and the DC doesn't pick up a lot, but like. All of the offensive coaches from the Kyle limb and the Sean McVay limb have gone on to be relatively successful wherever they land. I'll even include Mike McDaniel in that. Jesse Minter of the Ravens, he got a B. I think it was a good hire. It was kind of right down the middle. It was a fastball, not a lot of movement. Let's see if the Ravens are able to hit this one out of the park. I think it's very similar to the Mike McDonald hire for Seattle. It's a guy that's been in the quote-unquote family. This is a rare time that I actually like a quote-unquote family hire. So I like Jesse Minter going to the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, I think Minter makes sense. Minter makes sense in the same breath that Kubiak or somebody would have made sense for Pittsburgh. Like they went and got a young guy that they think they can keep for the next 20-plus years if he's successful. But they didn't go with somebody that's only going to be there like 5-6 years maybe. Like they look to change the culture completely and establish something young and new, which is what I thought Pittsburgh would try to do. Since that's been their MO.
I really thought Pittsburgh was going to go after Shula or Shellhass, the passing game coordinator in LA. But I really thought Shula was going to be the guy because Shula, how fitting would it be to have a Shula in Pittsburgh? Like that is that is made up in labs.
The last name, man.
You're right. Hey, but he is the grandson of the great Coach Shula. So at least his name means something, because there are some guys that have same last names that aren't related whatsoever, and that's always funny. Stefanski got an A. Harbaugh got an A. Clint Kubiak got an A. I like the Clint Kubiak hire a lot. I think the Raiders are going to give him job security because the Raiders, I've said it before on this show, the Raiders don't have money. The Raiders are one of the poorest franchises in the NFL. They've had to get state subsidies, state funding to pay for their new stadium in Vegas. They are one of the poorest because they're one of the true family-run franchises in the NFL. Them and the Bengals are like pure-on family businesses. So the Raiders, who have fired in the last couple of years, McDaniels, Antonio Pierce, and now Pete Carroll, they're on the hook to pay all of those guys because coaching contracts are fully guaranteed. So they're on the hook to pay out McDaniels at least for the next 2 years, Antonio Pierce for the next 3 years, and Pete Carroll for the next 4 years. You know they can't add Clint Kubiak within the next year or two to the tail end of that. So they're likely going to have to keep Clint for a little bit, gives him job security. He's got a lot of toys to play with, plus the number 1 overall pick. I'm not sure how well Fernando Mendoza completely goes into the current Kubiak system. Kubiak likes running plays under center. Fernando Mendoza ran no plays under center in Kurt Cignetti's system in Indiana. So that'll be something to monitor. but he's getting an above-average quarterback in Mendoza to come down, hand the ball off to Genty, throw the ball to Brock Bowers. They've got a nice little nucleus offensively. I like the Clint Kubiak hiring. Giants bringing in Harbaugh, I really like. You bring in an adult in the room. We had Amani Toomer on, former New York Giant, back when that hire was made, and that's kind of what he focused in on and harped on the most, where the Giants have not had a quote-unquote adult in the room since Tom Coughlin was there. Since then, Ben McAdoo, Pat Shurmur, Joe Judge, Brian Dable, a lot of swings and misses with their coach, a lot of questionable coaching hires, a lot of high-risk, high-reward coaching hires. This one is another right down the middle, no movement fastball that they're just trying to get past the batter, not doing anything fancy, and I think it got into the catcher's mitt. I think this is a really, really good hire. They got their adult in the room. And Kevin Stefanski, he was up and down in Cleveland, but he won with quarterbacks like Dorian Thompson-Robinson, P.J. Walker, Joe Flacco. Now he gets Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, great offensive nucleus. Kirk Cousins might be his quarterback, might not be his quarterback. Michael Penn. The quarterback position still in flux a little bit, much like the Raiders, but that nucleus is so good that if you get maybe a Geno Smith who's on the open market this year, that could be really successful if the Raiders end up moving off from him. So I think the three best hires this cycle are Clint Kubiak, John Harbaugh, and Kevin Stefanski. And I think everyone else you can kind of rank however, but those are my three favorite hires. Three favorite.
They're the safest as well.
Yeah. Clint Kubiak, it's a bummer that it's going to be fascinating to see who he takes with him and if Seattle actually goes through that brain drain. All right, let's get a break in here. We'll step aside. We'll be back with some news or snooze on this Monday morning, February 2nd, right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Stop smoking with hypnosis. Only $59.99 guaranteed or your money back.
Totally changed my life.
It's amazing. I don't have any craving. You want to quit, but have found it impossible? This is the thing for you. I have absolutely no craving. It's the darndest thing I have ever seen in my life.
It's not for entertainment. It's for result.
Do it. It works. Period.
You've tried everything else. You need to come and try this.
Stop smoking with hypnosis guaranteed. No irritability, no cravings. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all. In addition, use hypnosis to lose all the weight and destroy unwanted cravings. Hypnosis, Thursday, February 26th at the Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons in Glen Allen. Weight loss hypnosis, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking hypnosis, 8 p.m. Or Saturday, February 28th at the Hilton Garden Inn in Colonial Heights. Weight loss hypnosis, 11 a.m. Stop smoking hypnosis, 2 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
All Americans should do what they can to prepare for the future. Donald Trump Jr. here with an important message. More and more Americans are looking for ways to diversify their hard-earned money, and gold is the perfect solution. For example, a gold IRA from my trusted friends at the Birch Gold Group lets you diversify your IRA or 401k into physical gold with zero taxes and zero penalties. You stay in control with a tangible asset that's held value for thousands of years. And right now, Birch Gold is offering a free info kit to help you understand how it works. Just text the word SECURE, SECURE, to 989898. There's no pressure, no obligation, just the facts. You can't predict the future, but you can be prepared, but only if you educate yourself. So take that first step right now. Text SECURE to the number 989898 today. That's SECURE to 989898.
106.1 ESPN on-air interviews presented by the Herman Allen Plumbing Heating and Cooling Hotline with Lennox products that make the air in your home absolutely perfect.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop.
Swiffer Power Mop. A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Hi, Leif Erikson for SnowCountry.com. You expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. It's no secret it has been cold over the past week plus, but that's a good thing for our slopes and our snow. Whether that snow's come from a snow machine or from the snow clouds, it's really maintained its quality during this period as you haven't had that back and forth thaw and refreeze cycle. It's a fine day to let it rip on those corduroy cruisers on this Monday. Massanutton's fleets of groomers were out there before opening chair with all 23 runs in the mix as they go till 8:30 tonight. Bryce Resort with 12 trails 100% open. Wintergreen officially all 27 runs in the mix, while Wisp, Maryland delivers 31 trails and fine views of the lake below. In West Virginia, Snowshoe delivering 57 runs, nearly everything open. Night skiing on the Silver Creek side. During the day, you have to check out the steep Shays Revenge in the Western Territory at Snowshoe. I'm Leif Erikson for 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
106.1 ESPN weather.
It's currently 15 degrees and sunny with a slight breeze coming in from the northwest, averaging from 1 to 3 miles per hour. We're expecting slightly warmer temperatures today than over the weekend with a high of 40 degrees. But taking a look at the rest of the week, we are expecting snow starting on Tuesday evening, going into Wednesday afternoon.
News. Read all about it. Or snooze.
News or snooze this morning. We've got sources. Seahawks to go up for sale after the Super Bowl.
Snooze-worthy.
Wait, now, even if they win?
Yes. Well, so the breakdown of it all, Paul Allen used to own the Seattle Seahawks. He bought it in the 90s. He bought the team, and that was right before they were about to move down to Southern California. He kept them in Seattle. Then when he passed away in 2018, he also owned the Portland Trail Blazers, and they went into a trust. So technically the trust is the owner of the team. Jody Allen, his sister, because he had no wife, he had no kids. His sister then became essentially the executor of the trust or something along those lines. So she's been the acting team owner since his death. But in his will, it required that she sell the team from the trust and that all proceeds from the sale then go towards charity. So there was a clause in the contract with the Seattle Seahawks and the city of Seattle and the state of Washington, because Washington taxpayers paid in part for that stadium, that for 25 years after the building of the stadium, I guess, for 25 years, if there was any sale, the state of Washington would get like 10% of the sale. So they waited that out, and now they're out of that window. So it's been 25 years since they built the stadium, so they can sell, not have to give any of that money to the state of Washington. And the Seahawks have been exploring the potential to sell since the death of Paul Allen in 2018. So this has come up in recent times, but it's not really a lot of people were taking it and running with it and going crazy with it, but it's kind of been on the table for at least the last 8 years.
Yeah,
we all knew.
We don't keep up with the Seahawks on this
No,
side.
I know, but like it's just funny because people are like, oh my goodness, they're for sale. Well, technically, they are breaking a lot of NFL rules by being owned by technically a trust. And according to the Wall Street Journal, the NFL has denied this, but the Wall Street Journal says they've sourced it and confirmed it, that Seattle's actually been fined $5 million this season because they are not under the correct ownership structure as the NFL requires.
Yeah, I would imagine that's true.
Exactly.
So NFL denied that.
So like Jody Allen is the quote unquote owner. However, the Paul Allen Trust is technically the owner. And whenever they do sell, which will be for a record $7 to $8 billion, according to reports, all of the proceeds from that sale will go towards charity. But yeah, so the sources, they'll go up for sale after Super Bowl 60. Yeah, makes sense. Strike while the iron's hot, right? Like, that's just business.
Yeah, man, that's just fortunate, too.
Yeah,
you make a lot of money.
Exactly. Don't sell it after your worst season, after you haven't made the playoffs for 3 straight years. Don't sell then. Sell right after you're out going to a Super Bowl.
LeBron named All-Star Reserve extending record.
Snooze. You're gonna gasp at this, Alan. You ready for this?
Sure.
I'm kind of over the LeBron James stuff.
I'm not gasping at it. It's what you should have been saying 4 or 5 months ago when you were trying to have arguments about it.
He's also like being like, oh, I might retire, I might not retire. He's doing everyone a disservice,
He's
man.
doing everything that he can
to
for
stay in
attention.
the headlines. Yeah. And
it's crazy.
And I saw some splits when him and Luka are on the court together, the Lakers are like -20 this season.
And when it's either or, but preferably Luka, is better.
Yes, but even with LeBron, they're still like +15. With only Luka, they're like +25. When both of them are on the court at the same time, they're like -20.
It's not working.
It's so like, man, it's all. If I'm the Lakers,
you hear the shock in my voice. I did not see this happening. I thought for sure.
Oh
they
wow,
would work together.
I am so surprised. I think you got to trade LeBron at the deadline, or in the offseason or something.
Who's trading for LeBron?
Let him do his twilight in Cleveland.
And I say who's trading for LeBron because you know how much you would have to.
Well,
give
I guess
up for that. Like,
if the Lakers, maybe you keep him on the roster, you're not going to trade for him, but Lakers might just cut him at the end of the season, just to let him go have a retirement.
I'd rather
tour.
take the risk of them cutting him than to trade. I can only imagine what they would ask for.
Yeah, right. I also want to say, because he is still a great player in this league.
But you're only going to get him for like a year and a quarter.
Maybe. As selfishly, I would love to see LeBron finish out his career in the Eastern Conference because that means we get more chances to see him on the East Coast.
Yeah, and I think it's only fitting that he comes back to the East. I don't know. Again, think about this. Do you want him back in Cleveland if you're the players? Not if you're the fans. Obviously, the fans would
do,
love
but
him.
like,
Yeah.
well, I know that one guy who said this is Donovan Mitchell City now. Definitely doesn't
We're
want
not
him.
listening to that goofball. but like Donovan Mitchell, do you really want to be on the team with LeBron? Old LeBron at that?
No.
Imagine what that does for your bigs because they got to change up how they play because every big,
Especially after your big just had 40. Jared Allen just had 40 points.
That's an anomaly.
I know that was. So, I forget who said
How
it.
did he get 40 points? How did he get enough shots for 40 points was my question when I saw the stat line.
I watched Jared. The Cavs came to play against the Hornets a couple of years ago. I went to the game, and I was watching Jared Allen, and Jared Allen had like 25 at halftime, and he was like 10 of 10 from the floor or something. And I was like, how is this man doing this?
He's never shooting the ball less than a foot from the basket. That's for sure. Yeah. And he's a rebound machine. I love his game.
I think he had 25 and 15 at halftime. And I think he finished with 27 and 15.
I would prefer him over Rudy Gobert any day of the week, which was probably a hot take about 7-8 years ago, but I've always liked Jared Allen over Rudy Gobert. But they're the same kind of player, and it's just not a lot of room for these guys in the NBA anymore.
No.
Just not. So
yeah, especially when you bring LeBron in, you want that spacing, you want all of that.
Yeah.
You don't want paint cloggers because LeBron plays downhill, tries to get to the basket. And if you got a Jared Allen playing defense, essentially, then it's not going to work.
I don't think he's going to develop a three-point shot. So we'll figure that out, I guess, when it comes up. Lightning, as in the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah.
Say goalie fight, key in historic comeback.
So they won in overtime over the Boston Bruins as they played in the Stadium Series. And this is what the goalie fight sounded like on ESPN last night.
Kucherov, a shot, and it's stopped by Swayman. And now he goes after somebody out in front.
That's Hagel in front of the net again. Swayman is hot.
Vasilevsky's coming out across center ice. Swayman and Vasilevsky may go. Swayman tells Vasilevsky, take your mask off, and he obliges.
This is crazy. Oh.
Man, goalie fights are one of the funniest things.
So the goalies skated up to one another and went at it,
threw their masks off, met at mid-ice, and fought each other.
And I'm really not playing. When you said goalie fight, I thought the goalie was fighting a player.
No, the goalies.
The goalies.
So,
like, how does that even happen?
There was kind of a scrum right in front of one of the goalies, and the goalie got a little too aggressive with one of the, like, not field players, but like one of the normal players, one of the attackers. He got real aggressive with them. I guess the other goalie took exception to that and came all the way across the ice to fight the other goalie.
Bro,
so
how long did that take to get across the ice in his gear for starting?
Well, it's funny because like neither one of them can really like, they're both in their gear, so they're like throwing these wild haymakers because they just don't have anything. But hey, they had a huge comeback. It was with 9 minutes left in the second period, trailing 5-2. And they would go on to win in overtime.
Can you put the fight on like a delay? Can you be like, yo, after the game, I'm gonna see you.
Hey, pause real quick. Hey, you parking lot after game.
Like some players in the NBA actually will meet you in the tunnel. Could we do something like that? Maybe I get on your bus later and we could squabble on the bus. But I can't see in all that gear. It's bad enough fighting on ice in general in my mind is just virtually impossible. But I know these guys can get it done. But fighting in all that goalie gear
it's too much. So what happened was Lightning forward Brandon Hagel tried to get the puck away from the Bruins goalie. The Bruins goalie didn't necessarily love that, and Jeremy Swayman, the Bruins goalie, then jumped on top of Hagel next to his crease, which led to a melee between the two teams.
All right, that's warranted.
And then the Lightning's goalie came across the ice to fight him.
That's probably like 300 pounds of flop. Yeah. I'm not mad at him now. But the optics of like this guy like coming all the way from across the ice, that's hilarious. But also awesome. Do they get the same time for the penalty?
I think so.
They should get reduced penalty.
I think they both get majors, and they have to. I truly don't. I did not watch this game live.
Obviously.
All I saw was the goalie fight afterwards, and I watched that fight multiple times.
Man, WrestleMania got everybody hyped.
Yeah, the Royal Rumble. Everyone's like, heck yeah, man.
Look, there was a boxing match this weekend, Shakur versus Teofimo Lopez, and there were so many pre-fight weigh-ins and post-fight fights between people.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, man, WrestleMania weekend, we got to stop having events on WrestleMania weekend. People getting too amped.
Did you see that one boxer, too, who lost his hairpiece?
Yes, I saw him lost his hairpiece. That is super embarrassing. He won the fight. But
imagine getting knocked so hard, your toupee comes off.
That's a good uppercut.
But real quick, why are you wearing your toupee in the ring?
Trust me,
shave it.
When he made the post on Instagram, like he had hair, he was shouting out his barber.
Yeah.
And I thought that was funny because I was like, wasn't he bald?
So he's been bald before?
Yeah, he's been bald this whole time.
What?
I don't understand why he glued on hair.
Glued on hair that you know you're going to get sweaty and hit hard in the head. And he's like, you know what, I'm doing
Not a good look for his barber.
No.
I know that.
I bet that barber's like, hey, man, can you delete that post real quick? I don't want people
No, the internet was on it, man.
Oh, I bet they were. And that barber's probably like, man.
I got alerts on it, and I wasn't even trying to see it.
He goes, next time I got to use Gorilla Glue, not just regular old crazy glue. That's the key to it all.
Bald, man.
Yeah, just be bald. If you're in boxing, just be bald. Also, that goes for LeBron. LeBron, just be bald. That also bothers me now at his old age. LeBron, be bald.
Welcome to the LeBron hating club.
I'm not fully there. I'm in the LeBron annoyance club, however. I still think he's the greatest of all time. I'll still fight that fact to the death, but he's kind of annoying me. Sure, you extended your all-star record, but at this point I don't really care. You lost to the Knicks. You had your least amount of points scored in MSG since COVID. I'm not circling the wagons for him.
We need term limits for our greats in the NBA too.
We need term limits in life.
Yeah.
I just get term limits in everything.
You can't be a great after 40.
It is funny because now it's divulged into the LeBron debate where it's like, well, he's been playing for 23 years. And it's like, man, when the conversation is shifted to that, might as well just give it up. All right, hour number 2 is coming up on this Monday morning right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, where Richmond talks sports.
Sounds different when you explain what it actually means. That's the Sports Huddle with Matt and Bob, weekdays 4 to 6 on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
This year's tax changes. Better not get caught snoozing. Miss one deduction, lose thousands. Not amusing.
Big tax changes can mean bigger refunds at Jackson Hewitt. And right now, get $100 just to try us.
Don't worry, tax filers. If money is tight, get $100 from Jackson Hewitt, so you'll sleep better at night.
Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Did you know GoodRx can help you save on medication, manage prescriptions, and get trusted health information? If you're one of the millions living with a heart condition, check GoodRx for an easier, more affordable way to manage your health. GoodRx offers common heart medications for under $30. Just search for your prescription, find the best price, then show your pharmacist the GoodRx coupon. And it works whether you have insurance or not. To start saving and better manage your heart health, download the free app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Celebrating soccer in the RVA since 1993, the Richmond Kickers are getting ready for another great season. Reserve your 2026 season tickets and group outings dates now and be a part of the Red Army. Sign up to become a City Stadium Plus member for discounts on game tickets and Kickers gear. To find out more about the 2026 Richmond Kickers home dates, reserve tickets, or check out the latest team news, visit us online at richmondkickers.com and we'll see you at City Stadium.
This is advertising material.
Hi, this is John from your insurance company. We received your claim, and we're denying your coverage.
They think you'll give up. They're wrong. Alexander Schnarr trial attorneys have made insurance companies pay over $2 billion. It's your turn. They fight while you heal. Over 250,000 clients. Alexander Schnarr trial attorneys. Call now for a free consultation. 877-222-6666 or alexwins.law. Past results do not guarantee future outcomes. Every case is different. Phil George's licensed attorney in Virginia is responsible for legal work. Office is located at 500 East Main Street, Suite 1600-113, Norfolk, Virginia, 23510.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 1061 ESPN.
The second hour of Fitz the Bill is brought to you by Birdie Golf. Tired of paying premium prices for big-name golf balls that overpromise and underdeliver? Step up your game with Birdie Golf. Learn more about a local company at birdiegolf.com. Change out the I's for ones, and you're there. That's B1RD1E golf.com. Birdie Golf.
You're listening to the second hour of Fitz the Bill on 1061 ESPN.
Welcome in, Fitz the Bill, hour number 2 on this Monday morning, February 2nd. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick. Allen alongside as we are live on ESPN Richmond, the ESPN Richmond app, and ESPNRichmond.com. We're also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you want to watch the stream, be part of the stream, just type in ESPN Richmond. We'll pop right on up, and you can watch live. You can like, comment, and subscribe. And you can be part of the show. You can also call or text us on the Radkey Insurance text line, 804-327-0888, radkeyinsurance.com, RADKE insurance.com to start your free quote today. Hour number 2, we've got a lot to dive into. There's some basketball we want to talk about. Sunday night basketball seemed to be a hit last night on NBC. We got 2 good games out of it as well, but more so the trade deadline buzz that is building ahead of the February 5th trade deadline in the NBA. Giannis is the domino. Shams Charania was reporting on SportsCenter last night. He is the guy that teams are monitoring, and when he falls, we'll likely see guys like Ja Morant get moved, Anthony Davis get moved. Even Domantas Sabonis over there in Sacramento is a guy that Shams Charania is pointing out could be moved by the deadline, but it's all contingent on what the Bucks want to do with Giannis and how they want to treat the star player as he's trying to move his way out of Milwaukee.
I got a question.
Hit me.
What is Anthony Davis's value in the year of our Lord 2026? Seriously, man? Seriously?
The Mavs are receiving calls on him.
For what? He can't even play.
I think the thinking is, okay, if we can get 20 games out of him.
If you can get 20.
Hey, you look, sometimes you got to buy a broken, what is it? Not a broken asset. I'm not really big into investing. Not a depreciated asset. A really bad asset right now. And then you're hoping it rebounds real well. It's like buying you're trying to get in on the ground floor of, I don't know.
He's literally a walking Ponzi scheme.
Enron?
He's a walking Ponzi scheme.
Was that the one that was horrible and then?
Enron was definitely bad.
Yeah, so you're trying to buy, Anthony Davis is Enron and you're just hoping he can rebound.
I just don't get it, man.
Well, him and Sabonis, too. Sabonis has been on and off the court the last 2-3 years.
At least I feel like Sabonis gives me some solid minutes.
Even this is the funny thing about this trade deadline, right? Giannis has been hurt. Ja's been hurt. AD's hurt currently, and Sabonis is hurt currently. All of the big names on the market are guys with huge injury questions around them.
I think Ja Ja's injuries, I'm using air quotes, his injuries sometimes are related to his antics and stupidity off the court.
I do think with Ja, if I'm an NBA team right now, right, I know Giannis is the domino. So if I'm any team probably other than the New York Knicks, I'm trying to go after Ja or or like someone else. Like, while the rest of the league is zigging towards Giannis, I'm going to zag because the odds of me getting him are so low. I could maybe go get Ja. And
I bet you Sabonis will find himself a whole lot healthier for a team with a winning record. Like, I feel like he's another guy where I'm just like, is he hurt or is he just doesn't want to play for these guys?
Meanwhile, or are the Kings just that bad of an organization that they're like treatment programs are just that bad?
Yeah, the Kings have been an absolute abomination since Vlade Divac got in their front office and started doing stuff.
With a name like Vlade Divac, I know he was a great basketball player. Again, great basketball player.
Yeah, Vlade was cool.
Horrible front office. That goes back to my take. The better you are as a player, the worse you are in front offices.
He doesn't hold stock for the logo because he was a GOAT in all facets.
Hey, there are exceptions to every rule.
Yeah, the exception would probably be him because he was just amazing.
Exceptions for every. Look, I'm trying to think of a football player that's really good coach who was also a really good player. I don't know.
Nah, I don't know.
Not
off the top of my head either, but I know
maybe John Lynch as a GM is probably the most successful Hall of Fame player.
Keep that. Dick LeBeau, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Because he was defensive coordinator.
Yeah, he was a great defensive coordinator.
And he was a great defensive player.
Yeah.
Dicka?
Dicka, Hall of Fame tight end and Hall of Fame coach. Yeah. You could probably count with 3 fingers the amount of Hall of Fame coaches and Hall of Fame players there are.
Yeah, it's not a lot. But so again, you have more supporting you than going against you. I just used the one.
No, you're right. There are exceptions to every rule, but I think Vlade Divac's a good example of why. Sometimes the better you are as a player, the worse you are at not playing.
So I know we got the names in this cycle for trades with the NBA, but every name like you could mention, I'm gonna ask: is it worth it for a team like, say, the Pistons to give up Ivy or one of their assets? Like Duran and Cunningham obviously are not going anywhere.
Yes.
But is it
Ivy could.
But is it worth it for you to give up
3 firsts?
Yeah, an Ivy and some first rounds to add somebody. I don't think you could get Ja for that, but just to add anybody from this particular cycle. The 76ers, after the Paul George nonsense.
Yeah, he's suspended 25 games.
Yeah, is it worth it to try to make a move to get better with any of these assets during this trade cycle? Because everybody's coming in with some kind of baggage or question mark.
And does Giannis take you to a new level that Joel Embiid can't take you to? Like, if you swap out Joel for Giannis, are you really improving your win total by that many? You're improving your win total, don't get me wrong, but are you improving it by 10 or are you improving it by 1? I don't think you're.
I didn't even think that was on the table. Is that on the table?
Would you do that? Joel Embiid for Giannis straight up? I would do it just because he's so much younger.
I ain't gonna do nothing straight up. I'll tell you that right now. Nothing's coming straight up.
I've not seen that float. I'm just thinking, who would the Sixers be okay with moving?
But yeah, I'm not. Obviously, they've already said VJ Edgecombe is not going anywhere.
VJ Edgecombe's not. Maxi's not going anywhere. McCain's not going anywhere.
My whole backcourt is untouchable.
Yes. That's why I said Joel, because he's the only guy I could think of outside of Paul George who's not tradable right now. Is he even tradable being suspended 25 games?
I mean, I don't know the rules on it. I would assume he's not. But it wouldn't shock me if he was.
Could you imagine?
Because it means the NBA, man. They have some funny rules in the NBA.
Man, Paul George is such an enigma.
So was it like a performance enhancer or something? I think
it was drugs. It was
actual drugs.
It was like banned substance, but I don't think it was PEDs. They would have said PEDs. I think he probably tested positive for like weed or marijuana, but the NBA doesn't test for marijuana, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't be marijuana, I don't think.
But he had a statement where it was something like, I truly don't know the ins and outs of it.
I'll have to look into it.
It was not PEDs.
Because, I didn't see PEDs in the headlines, so I just kind of dismissed it. Maybe it was like a nutritional thing. Because I know there are some supplements or certain things that you can't have in your body or test positive for.
He mentioned mental health in his statement.
So maybe it was like Adderall or something?
Yeah, it was improper medication.
Okay.
So I don't think they exactly announced what it was. But
if he did take PEDs, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked because, I mean, he can't stay on the court. And that's typically where you get these guys involved in those kind of things when they stay oft injured.
Yeah. But Paul George, I think his was maybe more so, or even like a non-approved like antidepressant or something. I'm speculating.
Is there a team that we think is on the verge of contending currently that would even fit with Giannis?
The Hornets.
The Hornets, and see that would be you'd be giving up too much. And how
would
much
you be
improvement
okay?
would you do?
Would you be okay giving up Brandon Miller and a bunch of firsts for Giannis? Like genuinely, would you, or even LaMelo and a bunch of firsts for Giannis? I think you are. If you're the Hornets, you're already bad.
Yeah,
like you're 6 games under 500. You have found yourself 8-2 over the last 10 games. You have one of the best point differentials in a single month in NBA history at plus 151. But let's zoom out and let's look at it. You're still on the outside looking in of a play-in. You have not been a culturally relevant NBA team for the last ever since your team came. Since you renamed as the Hornets, you've not been culturally relevant. You have a new ownership group over the last couple of years. You can go in and you can make a splash. It'll sell tickets. You could use this as a way to push things forward. If you give up Brandon Miller and a bunch of firsts, heck, if you give up Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball, and a bunch of firsts, and you bring in Giannis, that's going to revitalize your fans. And what happens if all of a sudden you then lose your next 10 games? Oh, no, we go from not being in the play-in to not being in the play-in. I think the Hornets make sense.
So I'm looking at the standings in the East now. I would assume maybe the Magic and Bulls are in the mix.
Magic and Bulls have not expressed interest. According to Shams Charania, the Miami Heat, the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Heat are always in
I know. The Minnesota Timberwolves, the Knicks, and the Warriors all have expressed the most interest in trading for Giannis. So of those, only 2 of the 4 are in the Eastern Conference, Miami and the Knicks. For the Knicks, you're 5.5 games behind the Detroit Pistons. For Miami, you're the 7th seed. You're currently the number 1 team in the play-in. You're 1.5 games out of the non-play-in. You're 1.5 behind the Sixers in the 6th spot. I mean,
you know, it's crazy, and it's unfortunate that they just sold everything and have nothing to show for it. But he fit well with the Suns.
The Suns are low-key frisky, though.
Yeah, I mean,
right? They're tied for 6th.
They're tied for 6th. They're 10 games above 500.
But yeah, they sold.
And you could add a front court player like Giannis, who doesn't necessarily need the ball a ton. Devin Booker's a great complementary player, no matter who you pair him with. But they don't have any assets. Like they don't have any picks.
They don't have no picks.
Yeah, they don't have anything because they gave up everything for Kevin Durant, who said that they didn't want him there.
And they traded for Malawach with that trade and everything, that craziness during the draft, and he's their 4th string center. Good job, Phoenix.
I really thought he was going to be more impactful.
I thought so too, and so did the Suns apparently.
Anybody checked on my guy Queen? How's he doing?
He's doing real good in New Orleans.
Well, right?
Yeah, he's been doing real good in New Orleans.
I've seen some clips on him.
Although New Orleans,
they don't get on TV a lot.
No, because they should not be on TV a lot. They are 13-38. They stink. But Derek Queen, he's the starting 5. Zion's the starting 4. They've got a frisky roster over there in New Orleans, but
I got a basketball hot take revolves around this last draft class and Cooper Flag, and I got Jamal Mashburn. We got to have a sit-down moment.
What did he say?
Yeah,
he said something
don't
way
give
out
it
of
away.
pocket.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
We'll get to that.
Take.
Yeah, an overreaction Monday. That's a good one. He said something real out of pocket.
He was tripping.
Real out of pocket.
He was tripping.
Let's go out to the Radkey Insurance call text line, 804-327-0888, radkeyinsurance.com to start your free quote today. We've got a couple of texts in, starting with the NFL. Good morning, guys. I really wish the multi-billion-dollar NFL industry reflected the hiring of coaches, quote, leaders of men, in proportion with the players on the field. I believe that less than 10%, 3 out of the 32 NFL teams, of the head coaches are black. Yet on any given Sunday, Monday, Thursday, or Saturday, NFL fans are filled with excitement to watch NFL football. Should more coaches reflect the players on the field? Obviously, the fans are saying, just win, baby. I don't care who the coaches are. That's from Bruce. I think a large reason, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Alan, a large reason why we don't see a ton of black coaches in the NFL, it's not because they're not given the opportunities to be the head coaches. They're not given the opportunity. And this is also still an issue. I'm not saying like, oh, it's not an issue. But the issue is so much further down the food chain where there are only 2 real legitimate black coaches in contention for head coaching jobs this cycle, Brian Flores and Nate Schellhaus of the Los Angeles Rams. Brian Flores is actively suing the NFL.
Well, Mike McDaniel was in the mix.
Oh, my. I knew you were going to say something smart like that.
Why can't it's February? You got to get that off.
What is he? Wait, what? How is he again? I forget. I always forget he's a minority coach.
Yeah, he's a minority coach because of his grandfather or something like that on his mom's side. I look, I was just as shocked as everybody else when we got the pick, okay? But I'll run with it. I will run with it. But I think you're right. When you think head coach, you got to start somewhere in the NFL. The NFL is definitely a gatekeeping industry for coaches and players. Like, you got to get your foot in the door. And I think there's evidence that a lot of minority coaches are not being allowed the opportunity to even get their foot in the door to start the process of head coach. Because the first thing you're going to look for in a head coach is qualifications. And it's like, if I can't get an entry-level position, then I can't get the 5 to 6 years experience I need for that job that is head coach. So, I don't know what the league can do. I mean, I know that they incentivize.
I also think the Rooney Rule also negatively impacts the end result. Like, good intentions, but the unintended consequences have been horrible for coaches of color.
And my issue with the Rooney Rule is that you're putting people who are not qualified sometimes into these interviews, and you're just further kind of reinforcing that stipulation or that stigma that this person isn't qualified. Because, well, if I get 10 people of color for an interview and only one really has the qualifications to be an interview, why am I going through the Rooney Rule?
Like you always see David Shaw getting interviewed, and I don't mean to throw him under the bus, or Anthony Lynn this time around. It was like they weren't realistic head coaching candidates,
and
they know that. But like, they're then being flaunted in front, and these teams are using them as like, oh, we interviewed it, we're doing the Rooney Rule, and it's like, well, that's not.
It hurts a guy like Flores who is qualified.
Exactly, but. For Flores, it's tough. You're actively suing the NFL.
That too.
And the NFL are just a group of owners. So you think the owner is going to be like, I want the guy who's actively suing us. But good for Flores, because he knows that could have railroaded and kind of has railroaded his entire career to sue the NFL.
Yeah, but I think in Flores' case, he knows at some point he'll come out on head because he's talented enough, and these guys at the top want to win, regardless of whatever's going on. They want to win. And so I know in this cycle, it probably didn't play out quite like he wanted it to, but the Vikings reinvested in him as a defensive coordinator. Next cycle, I think for sure he'll be a head coach somewhere.
So, and I think the thing is like you said, the entry levels, it's how do we get more former players into the ranks, which Bruce called in on Friday, and we talked about this a little bit, but the NBA does a really good job of getting their former players into the coaching ranks almost immediately after they finish their careers. Like, Jason Kidd was a head coach within 2 years of him being retired. Udonis Haslem was on the bench as a coach for the Heat the year after he retired. James Jones, after he retired, was in a front office role in Phoenix, like almost immediately.
You know, it's crazy to say this, but what probably would have helped was the side quest that they had in like NFL Europe and stuff like that, where they would give these guys an opportunity to kind of work programs and systems. We don't really have that for football, but basketball, you got G League, you got all these camps, you got Summer League. Because even Becky Hammond, like she got a lot of love because of what she did during her Summer League tenure with the Spurs. The NFL, the only time you really have an opportunity to show that you can handle the coaching responsibilities is the Senior Bowl. They take the guys from certain staffs and they make them the head coach of the Senior Bowl. You run all the practices, you come up with the game plan, and that's your opportunity, your time to showcase that you can handle the responsibilities of managing a team.
Yeah.
And it's not the easiest situation because all these guys are new and you got to fit this all within a week window. But I've seen guys like Mike Tomlin was religiously a participant in coming down and supporting guys on his staff. They got that opportunity. Other coaches are doing that, vice versa. Even some of the coaches from college would come up and help staff members that they knew were getting their first opportunity to be able to coach. And it's not always minorities, but for the most part, it was minorities that they were trying to put in those opportunities or put in those situations to give them that opportunity. So maybe the NFL needs to consider that. I mean, they keep trying to expand with flag football and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to get these assistants or these guys that position for entry-level observation and then get them moving in a direction where they can potentially be a head coach. Because like you said, the NBA has it figured out. We got guys like Doc Rivers. We don't even want to be a coach anymore. We can't get rid of him, but he keeps finding his way back in.
He's just sticking around.
Yeah.
Like, how are you still a coach? And I think it also goes down to the fact that, like, even in basketball circles, but I think it's less so in basketball because your coaching staff is so much smaller, so the salary pool is split more evenly. But in the NFL, at every stage of coaching, like not every stage, but like once you get to the college level, if you're a GA, you're essentially almost paying, depending on the school you're with, but some GA opportunities, you're essentially paying to be able to be a coach on a staff. You're paying for your credit hours and you're not getting paid. You might get room and board, and that's all. You look at other volunteer assistant coaching openings that are paying you $5,000 for a full year. Not a lot of people can take on those opportunities. So then it naturally gatekeeps coaching chances for people who maybe come from more affluent families who can bankroll their kids and bankroll their kids to pursue their dreams. And it then just naturally forces people to go out of the coaching ranks, and that over proportionately hurts minorities, people of color, and people from there's so many layers to
and
this.
I can tell you from firsthand experience, they do have a program to help minorities get into entry level
coaching
analysts and things like that. They do have that. I unfortunately did not qualify, so that's why I'm on the radio.
Well, we're glad to have you here.
I know, because I definitely was going that route. It starts in college too, right? Like you were just talking about, like you got to be a GA. You got to get those experience hours in order to qualify for some of these programs as well. I would say, I know it's not what people like to hear, but if we educate ourselves better on the process, I think we could make changes at the ground level, and eventually over time we could change the perception of what it is or what a NFL head coach looks like. But it has to start at the ground level.
Yeah.
And you got to know the process, because again, the league is structured a certain way, not necessarily keep people out because of their color or race, but to keep people out because they're not qualified. So if you show you're qualified,
and keep their friends and like we were talking in hour number 1 about the trees. Everyone loves a McVay tree. They love this, they love that. That's what the NFL is, and it's not something that you're going to fix in one off season. It's not going to be something you fix in 5 off seasons. Like this is a long thing that you have to get to the core of it, the ground level of it, and figure out how we can fix a lot of these entry level positions into coaching. And how do we get NFL players who are recently retired into the coaching ranks? We're seeing that more and more, but also at the same time, you come from being a player where you're making a couple $1 million a year, right? So when I retire, would I rather go be a head or be a coach, a low-level coach on a staff somewhere making $50,000, whatever it may be? I'm not entirely sure what the salaries are for these coaches, but taking a drastic pay cut? Or would I rather go the analyst route and go on ESPN and go on Fox Sports and go on all of these other places, Amazon Prime? I mean, you look at Andrew Whitworth, Richard Sherman, all of them on the Amazon Prime pregame coverage. Would I rather do that and make substantially more money as well? So, there's so many layers to it.
Yeah, and like you just mentioned, Sherman just popped in my head. He'd be an amazing coach.
Fantastic.
He's so
coach.
smart.
But he makes more money doing Amazon Prime and hosting a podcast.
Yeah, so it's not worth it.
So many layers. All right, let's get a quick break in here. We got another text that we want to break down. What do you think about Giannis and LeBron in Cleveland? That's coming up next.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hi, Hi, my name's Robin Fletcher. I've smoked for 46 years. I went to a seminar in March and seen Mark. My best friend came with me. We both went to it, and neither one of us smoked a cigarette in almost 7.5 months. I took my 3 sisters and my brother-in-law and my sister's best friend and them went. None of them have smoked a cigarette, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
My name is Jen Carpenter. I went to a Mark Patrick seminar, the Stop Smoking, and it worked. A friend of mine also went, and he still no longer smokes, and it was just amazing.
Lose weight or stop smoking with hypnosis guaranteed only $59.99 or your money back. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all or your money back. Stop Smoking Hypnosis, 8 p.m. on Thursday, February 26th at the Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons in Glen Allen, or 2 p.m. on Saturday, February 28th at the Hilton Garden Inn in Colonial Heights. Registration 30 minutes before. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com. Stop smoking once and for all. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Big tax changes this year could mean a bigger refund, and Jackson Hewitt knows how to get you your biggest. You'll get $100 just to try us. That won't make you filthy rich, but definitely gas plus groceries rich. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back, which would make you low-key loaded. Or at least wealthy adjacent? Go with our trusted pros and get $100 to switch. Rest easy. Jackson Hewitt's got your taxes. Guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
If you want more than just the score, you'll find it here. The Sports Huddle with Bob and Matt, weekdays 4 to 6.
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got the real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Here's your chance, do your dance at the Space
Look, in the debate of LeBron or MJ, I'll give MJ the nod with Space Jam.
I mean, the original Space Jam was way better.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm giving him the nod. Let me give MJ his props here a little bit. Original Space Jam put the remake with LeBron to shame.
Yeah, I wasn't even trying to take it there. I was just thinking that a team with Giannis and LeBron is cheating.
Hey, that'd be like Space Jam, though.
It would be like the Monstars for sure.
Although Bruce and I were talking about in the offseason, but I mean, could you have imagined Wemby and Giannis at the 4 and the 5?
Yes, that would have been absolutely ridiculous. And Wemby's actually got the range. He doesn't even need to be down there.
It's great. That would have been
he
crazy.
He can block your layup from the 3-point line.
So Giannis is
real quick though. Did you? I know because it's NBA related. Okay. But since you mentioned Wemby, did you hear Brooks say that he had Wemby's number?
Brooks Koepka?
No, our guy Dylan Brooks.
Oh.
He said he's got Wemby's number.
Oh, like he knows how to stop him.
Yeah.
Not like his phone number.
No, not like his phone
number. I was like, okay, Dylan Brooks has Wemby's phone number. Why is that crazy? Dylan Brooks out of pocket, man.
Yeah.
Someone get Dylan Brooks.
He's such a troll.
God, I got his number. Man, you don't even have your own number.
It'd be great to see him wake him up, though, because Wemby's kind of aloof. He's kind of cool.
Yeah, he's like a monk. I mean, he was in China for like a month this offseason just chilling with monks.
To see him be an angry monk. Let's see what this brings out. If anybody can get under your skin, Dylan Brooks has definitely earned this generation's like pest award.
Yeah. From what? Lance Stevenson to Dylan Brooks, would you say that was the way?
I put Patrick Beverly somewhere in between.
Patrick Beverly was a big old. Yeah, Patrick Beverly got a dang camera and showed it to a referee.
I just think of all the guys I would personally want to fight on the court. That's what makes them a pest to me.
And
and
Grayson Allen.
Yes, Grayson Allen,
all-time college pest. Didn't really do much. Well, he's still playing the NBA, but
yeah, he's had some NBA moments, but he's not quite the same in the NBA as he was in college.
Because he was good in college, and so he could get away with it. But so Giannis, we were talking Doc Rivers earlier, and Doc Rivers, bless his heart, man. Bless his heart.
No,
this is what Doc Rivers said yesterday about the whole Giannis situation and what he sees the future holds for Giannis.
No, I don't have one right now other than Giannis has said everything that we need to hear, that he wants to be a Buck, he loves the city. And that's all I can go by as a coach right now. Has it been difficult? Yeah, your players every day have to hear stuff every single day about not just their best player, but they're thrown in the mix as well. My favorite day of the year this year will be the day after the trade deadline. That'll be my favorite day because I think everyone will be here and we can get to, you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to that.
Doc, believe me when I tell you it would be my favorite day.
No, I don't have one.
Oh, man. Oh, Doc. Doc is so – I know he's not that naive, right? Like, Giannis says he wants to be here. I'm going to believe him.
Yeah, he's just saying the things that need to be said.
There have been several aggressive trade offers submitted to the Milwaukee Bucks. A texter texted into the Radke Insurance text line, what do you think about Giannis and LeBron in Cleveland? I don't think that would work, and I don't think either team would want to sell their future for one day of glory, because that's what you'd get with LeBron and Giannis. You'd get like maybe half a season of glory.
Yeah,
and nothing
about half
else
a season.
Crazy.
About half a season, and thanks to my Facebook memories, I forgot to say this is the 1-year anniversary of the Luka Doncic trade.
It is the 1-year anniversary.
I did
of the
not
Luka
know
Doncic
that.
trade. Yes,
I know that seems random, but I just wanted to point that out since we're talking trades and all this speculation. We were 1 year removed from.
Oh my goodness! You just see the breaking news?
No.
Wemby traded. No.
Oh my God! Don't do that, because again, I was about to say we're 1 year removed from like being shocked.
Yes, I woke up or I guess when did it happen? Like 8 a.m. Whenever it was.
No,
did we wake up?
No,
to
it happened in the middle of the night.
Yeah, we woke up to it.
I was asleep, and my phone was like burning my chest because it was like going off so much. And I looked at the alerts, and it was Shams. I thought it was like a joke, and then Shams sent out another tweet.
Yeah, like this
is not a like joke. It's actually for real. And then they went crazy, players and fans alike. Yeah.
What a.
And who would have thought,
man,
a year from now, fast forward a year, the Mavericks are one of the worst teams in the league.
Yep. And the Lakers are good.
The Lakers are phasing LeBron out.
Yeah. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Fun fact, the Lakers, teams 1 through 9 in the Western Conference, there is one team in 1 through 9 that has a negative point differential this season. It's the Los Angeles Lakers. But they're 6th in the Western Conference, currently out of the play-in. But the Bucks, on the other side, we could get a blockbuster trade that is a little bit more expected here today or in the next couple of days, with the Bucks seemingly shopping Giannis, currently in the works in talks with Miami, Minnesota, the Knicks, and Golden State. And several other teams, according to Shams Charania, have submitted aggressive trade offers to Milwaukee. Milwaukee is currently negotiating with a couple of different teams to try and get the best possible offer to go and get Giannis. And Shams Charania reporting that Giannis is the domino. Once Giannis falls, we'll likely see Ja get moved, Anthony Davis get moved, Domantas Sabonis get moved, and other big-name players around the NBA.
Would you let Doc Rivers navigate this rebuild?
No. The Milwaukee Bucks made arguably the single worst decision, and it doesn't get talked about because it's Milwaukee. I understand it, and we probably won't ever talk about it again after today once Giannis is out of Milwaukee. But they had an all-star, all-NBA, all-world player in Giannis, right, who found his way to Milwaukee. They built him into Giannis, where he is a one-name player, right? They had him where he wanted to be there for the remainder of his career. He signed a long-term extension. He won a dang NBA championship with them, all of that. He did that with Budenholzer. Then Budenholzer, things kind of go off the rails with him a little bit. I think it was the right move to fire him, and I think they made a really good hire to replace Budenholzer. And he had them at number 1 in the Eastern Conference. Then they went on a little bit of a tough month, and they ended up firing him when he was still like a top 3 coach in the Eastern Conference, replace him with Doc Rivers, and now they have been one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference since that decision was made. Since that decision has been made, what's happened? Giannis has become disgruntled. Giannis has essentially burned the city of Milwaukee, and Giannis is demanding a trade out of Milwaukee. If you did not hire Doc Rivers, you would not be in this same scenario, and you would have a happy Giannis, and you likely would have won at least 2, 3, multiple NBA, not NBA finals, but you would have won multiple Eastern Conference playoff series, and heck, the way this last year played out, you easily could have found your way into the NBA Finals. But you were idiotic. You gave power to Doc Rivers, and now here we are, likely going to have Doc Rivers trying to build out the future.
Imagine being Giannis and watching Dame get that injury, go back to Portland, and have a better record in Portland than you have in Milwaukee. It's got to stink.
Like, it's just insane how they fumbled this situation so badly. And you can point to one decision, and it was hiring Doc Rivers. Adrian Griffin, the coach that they hired after Budenholzer. Budenholzer, by the way, a 69% win percentage over his time in Milwaukee from 2018 to 2023. They had Adrian Griffin, who coached in 43 games. He was 30-13, and they fired him to hire Doc Rivers.
Yeah, and Griffin was doing what Bud wouldn't do, right? Like his adjustments were great, and in-game adjustments were fine. I mean, every team is going to hit a rough patch in a full season. Like, it's impossible in basketball not to hit a rough patch, no matter how good you are, for the most part. So I didn't understand why they moved away from him so quickly, especially after you got rid of Bud, because you didn't like how Bud handled the big games. And you didn't even get Griffin time to show how he handled big games.
Legitimately
for a guy
insane.
known for failing in big games.
So,
there's not a more wasteful coach in the NBA in the last 20 years than Doc Rivers. If you look at the talent he's had over the last 20 years and the results, the most wasteful coach.
I don't get it. And I'm looking at this Bucks schedule from a season ago. They fired him after a win. They fired Adrian Griffin after he had just gone 5-1 over his previous 6 games. For some reason, it was sticking in my head that they were going through a little bit of a rough patch, but they really weren't. Over the last month, the month prior to him getting fired, they accumulated 8 wins and about 6 losses. Not bad. Not horrible.
No.
And they were 30-13. And you fired him, you made your star mad, and they ended up going with Doc Rivers, and now you're sitting here and you're questioning where he's going to go and where Milwaukee goes from here. They've made so many bad decisions. It's tough. It's tough for Milwaukee. Not often you can point to one specific thing like you can with Milwaukee. All right, let's get a break in here. We'll step aside, break down some overhyped, underhyped things, and Overreaction Monday coming up as well. Stick with us. Fits the bill.
Bonaire Shell is family-owned and operated and has been serving the Richmond community for over 20 years. At Bonaire Shell, you'll find old-school service with modern-day technology, and our certified technicians will get you back on the road in no time. Stop by for a quick fill-up, shop for new tires, ask us about a check engine light, or let us help with any of your auto service needs. Find us at 8762 Huguenot Road near the historic Bonaire section of Southside and online at bonaireshell.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-497-0593. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-497-0593. That's 800-497-0593.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Get the latest update on Henrico County sports tournaments, happenings, and future events on ESPN Richmond's newest segment, the Henrico Huddle. Join Henrico Sports and Entertainment Authority Executive Director Dennis Bickmeyer as he joins Bob Black on the Sports Huddle. For more information on Henrico Sports and Event Center calendar, visit online at henricosea.com or tune in to the last Wednesday of each month for the Henrico Huddle on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Hey, it's Delvin Joyce, JMU Hall of Famer and former New York Giant. Listen, make sure you tune in to Talkin' Dukes every Wednesday on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. Go Dukes.
Overreaction Monday.
Alan, I think you got to start off Overreaction Monday because you've brought the best one to the table with what Jamal Mashburn.
Yes.
What are we? I haven't said what are we doing in a while. This one brings out what
Overreaction Monday.
What are we saying?
Let me see if I can play it for everybody. I want everybody to hear it.
So when you look at last year's #1 overall pick in Cooper Flagg. If I was to put him on that list, he would be 6th.
That's all that needs to be said. That's all that needs to be said.
Wow, you cut that quick.
Jamal Mashburn went on national television and was talking about the current 2026 class of prospects coming out of college basketball and said that when he looks at this class and compares it to Cooper Flagg of last year, Cooper Flagg would be 6th. Are there 5 other Cooper Flaggs in front of him is my question.
I could name... based on the data I have at my disposal now, Cooper Flagg, the guy who just dropped 49 in a game in the NBA, the most points scored by a teenager in the history of the association. I have that at my fingertips, so I might be a little biased in where I say this. I would take him over everyone in this year's draft class, including BYU's forward AJ DeBonsa.
So my thing was, I thought DeBonsa and Peterson and Boozer, Flagg, you shake them up in the bag, they're all great prospects. I still probably would put Cooper Flagg over
all
three of them, or at least somewhere DeBonsa maybe in front of Flagg. I don't know. The verdict's still out on DeBonsa, but I see the vision. He is a complete player in my book. He can do a lot of things. It's the creative ability, the facilitation, the understanding of basketball at that young age that set Cooper Flagg apart before you even get to the talent. He's an amazing talent. So even if you're looking at Cooper Flagg that just scored 40-something points, take Cooper Flagg from his freshman year of Duke.
Well, he also reclassed. Like that's the other thing. He reclassed. He was playing as a freshman at Duke, was their best player with Con Knippel on that team. Knippel has now.
It wasn't even close.
No, it wasn't close.
Yeah.
Like Con Knippel is playing Cooper Flagg for potentially Rookie of the Year, and it was not close that Cooper Flagg was the best player on that Duke team. Cooper Flagg, who should have been a senior in high school, who's coming from, and look, if you're from Maine, I apologize for what I'm about to say, right?
It's fine.
But he's from Maine. He's playing me every day. Like, he's not tested, and he immediately becomes an all-ACC caliber player. He becomes the #1 overall pick, and then becomes one of the greatest young players we have in the association right here, right now. And then Jamal Mashburn, to just say that so matter-of-factly, like AJ DeBonsa is the only one that I could see you really have an argument with. He's putting Darren Peterson from Kansas over him, Cameron Boozer from Duke, Caleb Wilson from North Carolina, and Koa Pete from Arizona. What?
And I love those. I really do. I love those.
They're great.
Guys.
It's a fantastic class.
But and I would say they if you took Flagg out of last year's class, took him out the conversation, I do believe those collective group of guys are better than the collective group of guys that were there last year. But none of them are remotely even close to being better than Cooper Flagg, in my opinion.
No, and you can get a firsthand account of Kansas's guard Darren Peterson tonight on our airwaves 106.1 ESPN Richmond as Kansas and Texas Tech play. You like that plug there?
Yeah,
that's smooth.
I'm looking forward to it.
But even then, you can hear it all on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. I still don't think he is better than Cooper Flagg.
Matter of fact, you can hear Cam Boozer on Saturday. We've got Duke versus North Carolina.
We got him.
And
Caleb Wilson.
Yeah, you can hear three of the guys who Jamal Mashburn apparently thinks is better than Cooper Flag.
And you'll come away saying this: Cooper Flag is better.
You'll come away saying, huh?
Nani?
What?
Like, I do not understand.
It's not often I get alerts on things and I have to like comment on it, but I think we're duty bound on our platform to speak out when we hear nonsense of that nature.
Yeah,
That's absolute nonsense.
I did love Adam Lefkoe, the host of the show, try to give him an out where he's like, you would put him behind all 5 of them? And like that's the out for Mashburn to be like, well, actually, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
No, and he was like, yes. And it's like, oh, no, you weren't supposed to stand on business like that.
Doubled down.
You're supposed to back out.
Jamal, you know ball, man. What are you talking about?
That's always what, again, you know what I was saying on Friday, how sometimes great players aren't the best analysts. Sometimes they just be talking.
I mean, I saw Cooper Flag win games without even scoring like that.
Yes.
That lets me know he's a great player.
Yes.
Same way with DeBonta. Like he's actually sharing the ball with some other great shooters on his team, but I've seen him, Boozer, Peterson, I've seen these guys win without necessarily being the best player on the court. And I respect that. But if everybody brought their A game, no way Cooper Flag is behind these guys,
1,000%. I got another overreaction. I'm going to keep it on the hardwood in college. I've got my national championship set.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you right now, you are running a risky business, man. I'm gonna give you an out. Do not die on this hill.
I'm not dying on this hill, but I'm climbing to the top of it real quick,
man. Let me hear it.
This is Overreaction Monday.
I know. Let me.
This is Overreaction Monday. I am overreacting from what I saw this weekend.
Oh God!
And what I saw is that Michigan is darn good at basketball.
You're taking the L, man. You're taking the L.
And Florida. What they just did to Alabama? Woo-hoo, I got the national championship set. I'll see you guys. Where's the national championship this year? New Orleans? No, it was New Orleans. I'll see you wherever the national championship's being played. Michigan, Florida, they're going to be in it.
Listen to me, man. Listen to me. Arizona is the team to watch, man. Arizona's the team to watch.
They are because they've got Pete, who's
They've got Pete, and they are so battle tested. If you look at the fact that
Arizona is like,
because Arizona's already beat Florida.
Yeah,
they've already had to go on the road and play BYU, and they beat them too.
You know what though? They haven't lost.
They haven't lost,
which means they haven't been tested.
Yeah, they set a record and all that.
No, that's my least favorite talking point. Like when a really good team loses, and people go, "It's actually good that they got punched in the mouth," and it's like, no, winning is good. You talk to any player, and players are like, no, that loss didn't really help us.
There is a sense of especially as you get further and further into those historical realms, especially for college basketball. Because if you're going to stay undefeated heading into March, we already know who you're going to start getting compared to.
Oh yes,
and they are that team. The UCLA squads are like the highest of highs when it comes to team sports as far as their accomplishment. Similar to the Dolphins team that went undefeated. When you get closer and closer to that record, it does make you a little bit more nervy. But I mean, those guys are good,
and they got a lot of tests remaining. They got Kansas on their schedule remaining, Houston, Iowa State. Arizona's a darn good basketball team. They don't take a lot of threes. Just 20% of their points come from long range. Yet they're 55th in the country in 3-point percentage, so they can knock them down at a high clip. They are a scary basketball team, but so's Michigan.
I think Michigan's scary. I do not think Florida's as scary as they were last year.
I don't think they are either, but I think they're finally rounding into form. They had a rough start to the year, losses to Arizona, a head-scratcher against TCU. They fell against Duke, UConn. They began SEC play with a terrible loss against Missouri. They then rattled off 5 straight, fell to Auburn at home, which is a really tough loss to stomach. But that win on Sunday against Alabama, 177, I think they're starting to round into form a little bit at the right time. Michigan, though, is the team that I just watch, and I'm like, you guys are so good at the sport.
Michigan was beating people so bad. At one point, I was wondering if people were even trying.
Well, it was that neutral court. I forget what that tournament was, what that MTE was.
Yeah, the one in Vegas.
Yeah, they beat San Diego State 94-54, beat Auburn 102-72. And the game I watched, because all the hype building it up, was the Gonzaga game where they beat Gonzaga 101-61.
Yeah, but Gonzaga was a little bit I don't want to say they were overrated.
I mean, they're
but
11th in KenPom.
Yeah, they get so much hype for being Gonzaga. But
look at what Michigan's done over their last 2 games. A 75-72 win against Nebraska, who had carried the longest win streak in the nation into the game, and then an 83-71 beatdown against Michigan State at Michigan State, which snapped a 5-game win streak for the Spartans over the Wolverines.
All right, you take Michigan and Florida. I'm going to take Arizona.
Well, look, if we're talking who am I taking? Am I taking Michigan, Florida, or the field? I'm going the field still.
Well, obviously, yeah.
But that's my overreact. After watching what I watched, those 2 teams are good. Florida's rounding into form, and Michigan, I've just been thoroughly impressed. Arizona's a great team as well, but man, my overreaction is watching Florida and Michigan. I'm like, whew, that's national championship right there.
My other overreaction over the weekend is as fans, we give the NFL too much credit for how tough it is schedule wise. And what I mean by that is this idea that Kubiak is distracted because of him getting hired.
I've got something very similar to this.
It frustrates me to no end because I'm like the hiring process for him, one, everything that needed to be done was done the free week, the first week of everything, right? It's like you get 2 weeks to get into the Super Bowl. He took care of everything in week 1, which means he's got a full week 2 to prepare for the game, which is what you want.
And even in that first week, he was doing it in their off days, which were Monday, Tuesday. He figured it all out, and then it just doesn't get released until later on.
Yeah, and the negotiation of the contract.
It's done by the agent.
Yeah, it doesn't
Clint's
require the coach to be there.
He just tells the agent, I want that job, and the agent goes, all right.
And he texts you or emails you and say, hey, does this look good?
And you go, yes.
Yeah. Or no. Yeah. So this idea, like I've seen so many people like, I'm definitely taking the Patriots now. I mean, he's distracted.
I'm seeing the same thing with the sale of the Seahawks. People are like, oh, this news breaking. This is the national media is trying to get into the Seahawks' head. And it's like, you know what I can guarantee you a player cares nothing about? Who the owner of his team is if they're successful. Yeah. If a player does not care if they're about to be sold, just like a player does not care. I think it was Marcus Spears. Damian Woody, it may have been on Sportsman like before we came on. And they asked Damian Woody exactly that. They said, hey, what do you think of, like, is it a distraction when your coach is being hired away, like your coordinator ahead of a Super Bowl? Because they went through that with the Patriots. And you know what Damian Woody said? Oh, we don't even know.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't care.
Because also players at this point in the season typically are pretty much off of social media for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, God, just crazy.
At least you should be.
Yeah.
Unless you're one of those guys that's running these podcasts.
Oh, my goodness. Once you start running a podcast, you don't deserve a coordinator. That's my hot take. But, yeah, seeing Clint Kubiak and everyone's like, well, Seattle's distracted. Their offensive coordinator's distracted. No, he also did interviews the bye week before that 49ers game. And guess what they did? No offense. Guess what they did? The 49ers mollywopped them.
Yeah, I don't think that stuff's a distraction. I think it's overplayed. That being a distraction is overplayed, and this idea that like coaches can't do multiple things at one time when literally their entire existence
is multitasking.
Yes.
I got another overreaction. Sam Darnold's the greatest quarterback from the class of 2018.
Wait a minute.
That was
now let me go back and look at the 2018 class.
Baker, Josh Allen.
Yeah, it's got my guy in there, Josh Allen. So no.
I don't know. Sam Darnold, first quarterback to make it to the Super Bowl out of all them. So
yeah, he might make it to the Super Bowl, but unless he wins it, he ain't got an MVP, so he can't be better than my guy Josh Allen.
What if he gets the Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP?
If he gets the Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP, he will be the greatest comeback story since Kurt Warner, like I said before.
I think he would surpass the Kurt Warner comeback story. Although Sam Darnold never was bagging groceries in Iowa.
He might as well have been.
It could have been. I mean, with what he did in Carolina, I may have seen him in Harris Teeter once or twice, actually, now that I think of it.
It's not a hot take to say. I just think it needs to be said, though. He doesn't need to win the Super Bowl to erase the idea that he is now a good quarterback.
Yes.
Like, he's done more than enough to get, like, to earn people's respect at this point, right?
And he's grown up.
Yeah, it's not it can't be a fluke if it's been 2 years, man. It just can't.
Well, especially what he's now done in the playoffs, too. Like, his biggest Achilles heel coming into this season as a whole, and at points this season, he could not play under pressure well. He played amazingly under pressure against the Rams. 3 touchdowns, all of them came with pressure in his face, even going back to the touchdown pass he threw against the 49ers. He was also under pressure on the run to hit, I think it was JSN in the corner of the end zone. All of his passing touchdowns in the postseason have been under pressure. The dude has been playing his best in the most high-leverage moments, something that was not the case coming into this season. Because the Vikings a year ago, sure, he won the 14 games, but when the games mattered the most, in the highest leverage situations, when he was facing literal pressure in the pocket, he melted down. He completely combusted against the Rams in the wild card, and he completely combusted in the Lions game in Week 18 that would have given the Vikings a Week 1 playoff bye with the number 1 seed. He then grew from that, and he has looked amazing.
Yeah.
And I think I'm ready to, you can say he's a top 10 quarterback in this league.
My game plan still centers around trying to get him off his rhythm, but
I think that centers around every quarterback.
Yeah, I was going to say,
it's name me a quarterback that plays better under pressure. You know what I mean?
The all-time greats. I was going to say the all-time greats do, actually.
I mean literal pressure in their face, not like pressure. Yeah. How'd the Giants beat Tom Brady twice? They pressured him a lot, and they were hitting him a lot.
I swear to you, I need to go back and watch those games because I still don't know. I watched the games when I was younger. Yeah, I was going to say,
wanted the
still
Giants
don't know how they beat those teams.
The David Tyree catch, and then the Mario Manningham sideline catch. God wanted them to win.
Yeah, and Tom Brady missing Randy Moss on probably the easiest pitch and catch they've had all year long. I don't know, man. PTSD just thinking about it. I have no idea. Because you look at those two games and you turn around and watch the Patriots come back down 28-3 on the Falcons.
Make it make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm excited for? Eli Manning to make it to the Hall of Fame before Bill Belichick does. I stumped you. That got you in your track.
Because I'm trying so hard not to be super angry about it, but it's just such a smack in the face to what it means to be an all-time great coach, to be a winning coach, to be whatever Bill has been in the NFL. There's so many people.
You know how he could have gotten in? Maybe beat Eli Manning at least once, man.
I know, but I was saying there's so many people as coaches who would love to have the success that he had at that level.
Look, we talk about Spygate, we talk about Deflategate. That's actually not the reason he wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Because he lost to Eli.
Because he lost to Eli twice.
And he lost to Nick Foles.
There's disqualified.
If you'd have told me those were the reasons why you kept him out, I would respect that
Honestly,
more.
Yeah, why'd you not vote Bill Belichick in the Hall of Fame first ballot? Well, did you see who he lost to in the Super Bowl?
It's got to be a fluke, man. This guy has losses to Nick Foles, who got a statue out of it, and Eli Manning, who's going into the Hall of Fame out of it at some point.
I don't think he's ever going to the Hall of Fame. I don't think Eli Manning's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Arch Manning is not going to allow his son not to get into the Hall of Fame.
Hey, he's already got Peyton. Is Peyton in the Hall yet?
I mean, Peyton is
he's in the Hall.
First ballot as you're gonna get.
Yeah, and he graduated
outside of Tom Brady, but
he retired in 18?
I mean, what do we know about first ballot
15.
now? I guess.
All right. You're over there crashing out about
it's
Hall
so
of Fame
ridiculous, man. Like, what more can you do? Like, what more can
Not
you do?
cheat. All right, coming up tomorrow on Fitz the Bill, Lake Lewis Jr. will be joining us in studio from 9 until 10, hour number 2. So you want to keep it locked for that. Set your alarms now for 8 a.m. so you don't miss the first hour of Fitz the Bill. Then Lake will be in studio with us in hour number 2, breaking down all things Super Bowl. Host of the Lake Lewis Jr. Show, our Raising Hail Commanders insider, and you can listen to the Lake Lewis Jr. Show each and every Tuesday and Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m., streaming exclusively on Fridays, same time. But Lake will be in studio with us tomorrow. Look forward to that. Looking forward to picking his brain about what he sees coming up in the Super Bowl. Keep it locked right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond because we are where Richmond talks sports. The News Sports Huddle is at 4, and then tonight at 8:45 p.m., Kansas, Texas Tech, in some college basketball action. Prior to that college basketball game, we've got the coaches show as well as head coach Mooney will be joining Bob Black for a fantastic edition of the coaches show out there at The Local, right?
The Local has got the best food, man. It's really good.
I might have to make my way out there tonight.
I tagged you in that chicken pot pie. I told you got to come out and do
You're
a food
chicken
review.
pot pie guy?
I am a chicken pot pie. I grew up in the backwoods.
No, I love chicken pot pie.
Anything with that's
it's
remotely.
also shockingly easy to make chicken pot pie.
Actually,
are you a shepherd's pie guy?
I am a shepherd's pie guy.
I am too.
You know what's crazy about chicken pot pie?
Shepherd pie tonight. Yeah,
I don't like green peas by themselves, but I'll eat it in a pot pie.
I love peas.
Yeah, see, I'm not a peas.
Peas are so good.
I'm not a carrots guy either, but put it in a pot pie.
I ate a whole bag of baby carrots last night. just to eat.
You're a healthy eater.
I know. I have to be. Putting on some pounds, eating too many chips. I gotta.
It's the food reviews.
You're right. I was buying 2 entrees at those to give equal opportunities to everyone. Give them multiple looks. I had to try your burger and your fried fish. It's just how it is.
Yes. But look, job requirements. You got to eat the good stuff.
These are the tough things that come with it.
Also, just kind of a little tease ahead of time.
Oh, you got a teaser?
Yeah, Wednesday, February 4th, the guys in the evening will have Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike as their guest. Talk about the Super Bowl as well. He's going to do an interview with them out from San Francisco. Santa Clara or wherever.
Yeah, get it right. Santa Clara.
Sorry.
San Francisco, quote unquote. Like how New York City hosted Super Bowl 48, but it was actually Jersey. Yeah, that was a rough one. Yeah, looking forward to that on Wednesday. Evan Cohen joining the guys on the new Sports Huddle. And that music means our time is done on this Monday morning. It's been a fun Monday. We got Lake Lewis in studio tomorrow, so really looking forward to that. Booking out gets for the rest of the week as well. It's Super Bowl week. We'll go NFL heavy. Can't wait for it. I think I did a good job today, Alan. And correct me if I'm wrong, taking off the Seattle Homer hat as I wear my Seattle Seahawks jersey. I'll try to keep it out of the way for the rest of the week. You gave me a face.
You did all right.
Look, I'll say when the Homer hat's going on. That's all I'm saying. We've got so much to come this week, so keep it locked right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, where Richmond talks sports. Coming up next, Clinton and Friends. That takes you into the Rich Eisen Show. Then we've got the new Sports Huddle tonight from 4 until 6. Then we've got the Coaches Show. Coach Mooney, Bob Black, live out at the local. You don't want to miss it. And tonight at 8:45, Kansas takes on Texas Tech. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Fitz the Bill.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL.